we know that, and you've answered it in a way. Business is not all flowers and rainbows like everybody thinks, right? They all think that we drive fast cars and we live a luxurious life, drinking French champagne. At least as a hospitality entrepreneur, that's what everyone thought I did. They weren't far from the truth. I did a lot of those things. It's just that I needed to be a little bit more careful. But what failure experience do you think set you up for success later? Do you think that was one of those moments? Was that a tipping point for you where you kind of went, shouldn't have done that? What did I learn from that? You're a very reflective person. So
failure and success are two sides of the same coin, heads and tails. You can't have success unless you've had failure. You can't have reward unless you've had setback. It's the law of the universe, isn't it?
Yeah.
When I hear an entrepreneur say to me, I've had 20 years of spectacular success and never seen the downside, the first thing I think is, you're telling me bullshit.
Yeah, correct. I said the same
every time. It's like, come on, don't bullshit. Don't bullshit a bullshitter.
Right. Hey, we're very good at that, aren't we? It's interesting, Martin, that you put that that way. And it's a great conversation because very few people you can have that with. See, to me, failure and success are an equation, right? So that it's circular.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. So many people will sit there and say, I've never failed. And I look at them and I'm just like, you kidding me, mate? You've never failed, right? What did you do last week that didn't work for you? And the thing is, people fear the whole premise of admitting fault. And, and if you read Good to Great by Jim Collins, he talks a lot about, or How the Mighty Fell is another book that he wrote. And a lot of that were people that were just not prepared to be accountable for their actions. And kept going. But in your case, expand for me what failure and success then really means.
Well, that's where you got to set your ego aside, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had to. So my, YouthWorks Mark II, YouthWorks 2.0 experience, it just wasn't working, and I was propping it up every month, and I thought, look, this is, I just said to myself, why am I doing this? So I sold the business. I went to all of my suppliers that I dealt with for 17 years, and I said, guys, I'm hanging up my boots. How much do I owe you? I need to settle the account. Please do support the buyer. And, and they're kind of looking at me saying, hold on, Martin, you had 18 retail stores. You can't make a go of one.
Oh.
And that was the subtext, right?
Okay.
And I just had to suck it up. And I said, no, I can't. And I said, I'm not even sure if I actually want to.
It's quite remarkable that you actually had the foresight to make the decision. I mean, how many people do we know? I was one of them. I knew that I needed to get out, and I refused to because I was stubborn. I wasn't listening to people, and I'm like, the GFC's come roaring through, and what's the first industry that really gets hammered during a GFC? Hospitality. Retail, and
hospo and retail.
And at my point, I was so big, I couldn't even see that anymore. And you did, though. You were able to go, you know what? Enough. I'm not going to hemorrhage to death here. I understand and realise that this is not for me, and I can't make it work, and I'm going to move.
Yeah.
So I think that's courageous in itself, and I think that's why I thought that's such a great lesson for people listening, is that you've got to actually know when it's time to go.
Tear the Band-Aid off.
Yeah, tear the band. I was going to say something. Tear the band and let it bleed out if you have to, right? But in this case, just start repairing.
Yeah.
So okay, great